This is Weirdly Enough, your regular podcast for strange stories and amazing facts, delivered straight to your favorite podcast directory and at weirdlyenough.com. Now, here are your hosts, Andy and Len.
Back again, yes, we're back again with Weirdly Enough. I'm Andy Kane.
And I'm Len Johnson.
Good to have you along for the ride. Oh, well, just fix these volume levels. So, we've already covered quite a wide-ranging amount of topics. We've looked at micronations, and the Micronation World Cup seemed to be a big thing. Yeah. And before that, what was it? 2 weeks ago? I can't even remember now.
It was that's a good question. The Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. Yes.
Yes, the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. So this week we're going to be looking at just pressing a few buttons here. What is it this week we're going to?
The hum.
The hum. What's the hum?
The hum. Now this is strange. It's a phenomenon, or a collection of phenomena that's heard around the world.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a persistent low frequency humming noise.
Oh, right.
And it's heard by lots of people. It's perceived. People have described it as like a distant diesel engine idling or low pitched sound.
That could get annoying, I suppose.
And it is just literally like a hum. Now, people often talk about the Taoist hum.
Right.
The Taoist hum. Well, but I mean, it's been described as the Bristol hum.
Yeah. Or
the Windsor Ontario hum, because it's been heard in different places across the world, including Ireland.
Right. Where in Ireland?
Well, it was heard round about Strangford Lough, and also a place called Beaufort down in County Kerry.
Right.
Now this was in the news back in 2012, and locals were actually, they reckon their lives were made hell about it because it used to keep them up at night,
right,
and really annoy them. And actually, one of the Healy Rays, the famous Healy Ray political dynasty, was trying to chase this up with the local authorities, but they didn't really gain a satisfactory explanation for it, you know.
The one I heard about Windsor, Ontario, and I looked into this a bit myself. It's just across the river. In fact, the USA is north of Windsor, Ontario, which is funny because it's just the way the river and everything goes round. But north of Windsor is Detroit, and there's a lot of industry and industrial things going on in Detroit, and people assume perhaps that the hum is coming. The Windsor hum, anyway, is coming from some sort of industry happening across the river and across the border in Detroit.
Well, there's been a number of investigations into the hum. For example, in 2006, Tom Moore of Massey University in Auckland, New Zealand, did a few recordings of the Auckland hum.
Right.
Because this was a thing down in New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
Now, they found that the hum was about 56 hertz. So, and then they looked into the Taoist hum as well, and they found the frequency was between about 32 hertz and 80 hertz. So they've actually got very consistent, results for the the frequency of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a few kind of strange ideas, but like some people think it's the Earth vibrating, and some people think that it's explained by scientists say that the Earth gives off a subtle vibration,
right,
at a frequency of 10 millihertz, and humans aren't supposed to be able to hear at this low of a frequency, but they think some people could have very sensitive ears that do pick up the hum, so you're actually listening to the humming of the Earth.
So it's very, what is it? Did you say high frequency, it's low
very
frequency?
Low frequency,
low frequency. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, there's a few good websites. There's one I came across. It was a WordPress site. And it was Dr. McPherson.
Yeah.
Now, he was a guy, he was looking into it, I believe. I think he works out of the UK. But he's got a website called thehum.info.
Right.
And you can email in, or your accounts or your experiences, or any recordings you might make of the hum.
Yeah.
And you can also be emailed at glenn.mcpherson@gmail.com.
Right.
But you're not guaranteed a reply because he's been flooded with emails.
Okay. Yeah, because there's just so many of them happening.
There's just so many of them, yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm going to be very unprofessional and move your mic a bit closer to you. This is how it happens.
It's the hum
in this podcasting world.
Is that a bit better?
Yeah, I think so.
My face is literally touching the mic now.
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the hum. It's interfering with it. Now, obviously, the hum causes a lot of distress to people.
Yes, I could imagine that.
It can give you headaches. It can agitate you. It can stop you sleeping or whatever. Now, this guy, Dr. Glenn McPherson, has devised a way to alleviate the symptoms of the hum.
And what's that? How do people go about alleviating it?
He's built what he calls the Denning box. I don't know why it's called a Denning box. I don't know why you wouldn't just call it the McPherson box. But it's basically
a modest man, you know,
a VLF blocking aluminium box. That basically looks like a metal coffin.
Right.
So you can go and sleep in this little box at night, and that'll stop the hum.
Yeah.
So it seems like quite an extreme way of doing it.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I've had people talk to me around where I live and say on a Sunday morning they always experience a hum, and they hear this hum far away, and it goes on for hours, especially early on a Sunday morning. And I've said to them, you know what it is? No, it's a street sweeper. And they say, no, rubbish. It's not, and it is. I've seen them I've got closer and closer to them, and they get louder and louder, and the hum. But because it's a Sunday morning, street sweepers are probably out all times. But a Sunday morning is very little traffic noise, so you can pick up on it more.
You see, different things can affect sound. You know, like weather can affect sound, wind can affect sound, hills, buildings, all these things. Time of day, it can all affect the way the sound bounces around. There's a guy called Barry Frewer.
Yeah.
Now he goes down a more conspiratorial route. He thinks the hum is actually a directed sound energy weapon that the government are testing.
Which government?
The government.
All of them.
Yeah. And he reckoned there's been some experimentation down in Portendown, the notorious Portendown.
Oh yeah.
Who's it's more infamous for sure biological weapon research, but he thinks they've been doing a bit of the old sound stuff as well. Now there's a very weird explanation I came across, and that is that it's actually caused by animals.
Oh.
Now they reckon again there's hums all over the place. There's a West Seattle hum. A hum that was heard in the western bit of the city of Seattle. And
the animals is like foxes and holes just sitting around humming to allow people.
You literally won't be able to guess what this is.
Right.
It's the most bizarre thing. I had to double check it when I was reading over this. A midshipman fish.
A midshipman fish?
A fish.
Yes.
Now, this is really weird because they actually did. Now, there was a hum in Sausalito down in California.
Right.
On the west coast, and they did find it was the mating call of a male midshipman fish.
All right.
So presumably this thing would poke its head out of the water, and go, and then go down again. So it turned out to be this random fish that was creating the hum. The Scottish Association for Marine Science.
I've got one here if you want to hear it.
This is in fact cutting edge investigation.
Yeah. I'll turn it down. Let me see if I can get this. A midshipman fish. If it's going to load up, here it is. It's very hummy to me.
You know what? That's got quite. I was skeptical.
Yeah.
But that is sounding very hummy to me.
That's courtesy of Science News on YouTube. You can find that. Yeah, the midshipman fish. So it's humming. Is it humming underwater, or is it coming up to the surface and making that noise?
That's a good point. Actually, it might. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not up on my marine biology. Now there was a similar sound in Hive in Hampshire.
Yeah,
and the Scottish Association for Marine Science has hypothesized that it could be a similar sonic fish that's doing its thing at night. Now, obviously, there's been cases of the hum that have turned out to be not really up to much,
like street sweepers.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a hum in a house that was part of the Daily Telegraph, letters from readers on the 18th of January 2018. It turned out to be a wasp's nest.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, sometimes there are quite...
Somebody took the time to write to the Telegraph, of all things.
Sir,
there's a humming in my house. Please come and investigate. Yeah.
And there's been a lot of media coverage. Radio 4 did an investigation of the hum phenomenon in their Punt PI fact-based comedy program.
Right? Radio 4.
Yeah, Radio 4. Popular culture. It's been Murdoch Mysteries.
What's I've heard of that. Yeah, Murdoch Mysteries.
It's one of those sort of daytime
ITV3 things.
Yeah, ITV. Yeah, Murdoch Mysteries. An episode called Tattered and Torn. The hum can be heard while Murdoch interviews Malcolm Lamb.
Right.
And it was in the X-Files.
All right.
In 1998, Agent Mulder speculates that extremely low frequency radio waves may be behind the so-called Taos hum in an episode called Drive. So it made a bit of an impact on popular culture.
The old Murdoch thing would make sense, actually, because the Murdoch Mysteries comes from Ontario, Lake Ontario, all around there. So it's obviously going back to that Washington, or what was it, Windsor, Ontario thing?
Windsor, Ontario, yeah.
Yeah.
And it has apparently been heard down around Strangford Lough.
Right.
So it's been an ongoing thing. There's various quotes today of the hum. One resident of Bondi Beach in Sydney told the Daily Telegraph, "It sends people around here crazy. All you can do is put music on to block it out. Some people leave the fans on."
Maybe it's the fans that are causing it collectively.
Could be.
Yeah.
Kitty Jack from Leeds told the BBC, "It's a kind of torture. Sometimes you just want to scream. It's hard to get off to sleep because I hear this throbbing sound in the background. You're tossing and turning and you get more and more agitated about it."
Oh, excuse me. I thought I pressed a button there that would like a sneeze button, but
it's a very strange, strange phenomenon.
And I think now we've gone down the rabbit hole as such.
Well,
I think we've opened a can of worms. I think we'll have a lot of people contacting us now that they've heard the hum.
Yeah,
and if they could send us recordings as well, podcast@weirdlyenough.com is our email address.
Get a bit of interaction.
Yes,
out there,
Yeah. So is that it?
I think that is.
That is it. Okay. There's loads and loads of different ways to get Weirdly Enough, and we would love if you do listen to us. If you do subscribe, please give us a review, 5-star if you think it's worth 5 stars. We're on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, the podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're on now as well, Spotify. Then we're on the smaller networks as well: Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Castbox, and Podchaser. You can also get our RSS feed straight from our website where you can listen to us. It's a mobile friendly site, and that is weirdlyenough.com. If you have heard the hum, podcast@weirdlyenough.com, or get in touch with us. We're on Twitter, Weirdly Enough PC is our handle on Twitter, and we're also Weirdly Enough Podcast on Facebook. So every week, it's actually more of an occasional thing. I look at weird TV and weird entertainment that's out there. It is occasional because we might be able to pick up things that are noteworthy every week. But this week I've been fascinated by a new PlayStation game. Well, it's not new, but it's new to me. It's a game called Death Stranding. Have you seen that?
What does that involve? Sounds a bit sinister.
It's been out a few months now. So it's not really new, but it is an amazing find. It's created by a Japanese video game guru called Hideo Kojima, and he's been around since the 80s. He worked on the Metal Gear series, Metal Gear Solid, and all of those kind of series. But this is a new game from him and a new concept. The game takes place in a fictional open world landscape modelled on what looks a bit like Iceland. It's set during or after some sort of terrible catastrophe has killed most people off. The hero of the game is this guy called Sam Porter Bridges. He's played by Norman Reedus. Who's an actor. He's been in a lot of things. He's basically this courier that walks about this world, this landscape that I say looks a bit like Iceland, and he carries important materials and stuff from place to place. That's the basic concept of it.
Is it Iceland, or does it just resemble Iceland?
It just resembles it, I think. And the reason, it's very much kind of mossy and looks like that, and hilly, and and rocks and things everywhere. And Kazumi visited Iceland in about 2014 and took photos. It's on his Twitter feed. He says, "Oh, it's very mossy here" or something, and people reckon that he saw the landscape in that and decided to create this world. I'll have to show it to you later. It is amazing. You know, even if you're not into games, go to YouTube and look it up. The really weird thing about this game, though, is your character carries this bottle strapped to his front with a baby inside it, like a fetus that's been growing.
Is it like a homunculus?
Maybe, yeah. This little baby, and the baby reacts to and detects invisible monsters that you can't see, but the baby can see it, and it'll start reacting and start setting off like
that sounds
sirens.
Extremely weird.
It is. It's weird. Extremely weird.
Is it like a little genetically kind of created chub?
Yes.
Designed for that purpose.
It seems to be, you know, a genetically engineered human designed for that purpose, which is a bit odd and unsettling.
Again?
Yes, if you want to.
Homunculus.
It's got a really cool soundtrack as well. There's some Icelandic bands in there as well. Which
right, yeah. It's like Sigur Rós.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. It's not Sigur Rós, but it's other bands like that, and it's quite cool. It's kind of, even though there's all these monsters and things, you know, that are invisible and stuff, it's quite calming in a way, just kind of walking over this landscape and carrying your packages and stuff. 10 out of 10 I'm giving it for weirdness. My weirdness scale is giving it a 10 out of 10. Maybe for gameplay and stuff like that it isn't quite as high, but very good. Fine, go and give it a go if you're into your games. So I've been having a bit of a look about on the news feeds and news over the time, and this is a bit of a weird story that I just thought sounded good. It's in Dallas, in Texas, and they've now got their own leaning tower. Following an implosion to demolish an 11-story affiliate computer services building last Sunday. Well, when this was written, so I don't know if it's a few Sundays ago now. The building, part of the building failed to collapse the core of the building, and many people locally are taking to social media to liken the lopsided tower to Italy's famous Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Right,
so they're doing all those photos where they're at a distance, but they're pretending to lean against it.
I'd be worried it would collapse on you.
Well, they're far enough away.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Perspective.
And of course, there's those cows are nearby. Those ones are far away, and those ones are difficult.
Shades of Father Ted.
An online petition has even popped up encouraging the local authority to save the landmark from destruction, stating that if nothing else comes from the endeavour, at least they can do it for the memes. So yes, people want to create memes and think it should demand their memes and think it should stay there. The president of the company responsible for the demolition has defended the firm's actions, saying this type of construction with the central core and outer columns, they're tough, obviously.
They would need to be.
Yeah, punctuation is his strong point, I think. And we get this all the time. We've got a lot of these. Back when we did our radio show, we talked about this quite a few times. It's people calling emergency services over really daft things. So you'll get stuff like pizza's not being delivered on time, and you know somebody locked out of their flat, you know, and they ring 999, or just really there's a wasp in my house. I need you to sort it. But one woman from Ohio was arrested last week after she repeatedly called 911 to complain that her parents had cut off her mobile phone service.
What age was she?
36, still living with her parents.
What?
Saloni Kurtapal.
Right.
She's from Jackson, Ohio.
Yeah.
Still lives with her parents. She's a registered realtor. So she's an estate agent to us.
Could she not sort her own phone out?
I know. You'd think that. She told the operator that she used the phone for work and it was wrong that her parents cut it off. The operator reminded her that it wasn't a police matter, but she did. She called back a couple of hours later to insist that it was a police matter and that they help her out. And now she's in court.
Do you mind if I interject with a very quick observation?
What's that?
That epitomises first world problems.
Yeah, first world problems.
It's like on Twitter during the week, somebody unironically was saying, "Oh, one of the problems in Ireland is you can't get a decent coffee after 5 p.m." And I would debate that.
Yeah,
that's debatable, but also it's kind of like first world problems.
And also you won't get to sleep. I don't drink coffee after about 1 in the afternoon because I know that's my caffeine cutoff.
Yeah, I think my caffeine cutoff's probably like 9. I seem to have developed a worrying high level of tolerance to caffeine.
What, 9 at night? Oh no.
Yeah, which is probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, first world problems.
First world problems. Since the 1950s and right up until as recently as 2009, a secret department within the Ministry of Defence has been documenting and investigating reports of UFOs, and now these previously classified files have been made public for the first time. So you can go to a website. It's a really long URL. They probably want to keep you away from it, but we'll put the link up on Facebook. The file basically details, it's a PDF, and it details the date, location, and description of the sightings. The MOD have decided to publish it following numerous Freedom of Information requests. Really, yeah. I'll click the link now and have a look. Let's see. It's January 09. Let's see. The time wasn't given. Porthcawl in Glamorgan. A diamond-shaped red light came towards him from the sea. Rear end of the diamond was blue light. It was incredibly hot as it passed overhead with no sound. And there's pages and pages and pages of these.
Are we putting the link up?
Yeah, we'll
put. I wouldn't mind checking that out myself.
Let's see. On my birthday, 11th of April, in Bromley in Kent, just a UFO.
Well, what year is that?
2009. These are all 2009. So I don't know if it goes back to the 50s. I don't know if you can get the 50s, but 1st of October, M1 South, very sharp turn in jet stream, very sharp for an aircraft and very high up, like an unusual airliner height.
Interesting.
What are people reporting these? And I don't know, but there you are. Yeah, we'll put that link up. 39 pages of them. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back again next week with a podcast all about what is it?
The Men in Black.
We can't sing that song because
we'll be hit with a copyright strike.
We would. I watched that film recently. Parts of it, snippets of it.
The first one was good. The sequel's not so good.
I forgot they even did a sequel, but no, that was the first one.
Numerous sequels. And
it's one where the guy's skin kind of falls off after the alien goes into him. Very good. Okay, thanks very much for listening. WeirdlyEnough.com is our website, of course. Do subscribe to us through any of the podcast services out there. Leave a positive review. We'd really appreciate that. 5-star review means that we get out there and get heard by more people, and that really does encourage us to make more of these episodes. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Weirdly Enough. Remember to subscribe to get the latest edition as soon as it drops. And don't forget to leave a review. Email us about anything we've discussed or with your own weird tale at podcast@weirdlyenough.com.